So welcome to Monday Morning Motivation, and today's topic is strengthening the team, strengthening your team. And one of the mottos that I always like to use in team building exercises is actually teams that play together, stay together. Because there's a lot of positive emotions involved and laughing and growing together and so on. In case someone doesn't know me yet, let me just quickly introduce myself. Okay, let's start here. So this is me basically. And I want to start today's session actually with asking you, is having dinner with the team a team building activity? And you can just answer with yes or no. You can unmute yourself as you like. Okay. Yes, for sure. So why am I asking this question? Because most of the times when I talk to teams, they actually say, oh yes, we're having a team building activity. And then I ask the people, so what kind of team building activity are you having? Oh yeah, we're having dinner together. So most of the times when people talk about team building, what I actually hear them say is, oh, we're having a team dinner. But I think team building is so much more than, hey, let's go out for dinner. Let's watch a little video. And I want to ask you, is it a group or a team? Oh, wait 1 second. Seems like it stopped working now. Here.
Time now for a special moment at Suncorp Stadium for the performance of the traditional war cry by the Indigenous All-Stars team and members of the Aboriginal dance troupe, New Knuckle Yagara.
Okay, everybody, here the question for you. Is it a group or is it a team, what we have just seen in the video? You can use the chat again if you like, group or team. Kim says group, Jun says group, strong team. Do we have any other replies? Definitely a powerful team. Okay. Which brings us back to what is the difference between a group and a team? And I'll definitely come back to this very, very shortly. Thanks for your replies. So talking about team building, right? And now the question is, what exactly is team building? Let's go back to a few basics. So basically, it's just like an action or a process of causing a group of people to work together effectively as a team. So random people who are part of a group, maybe they're new in this company, new in that department, they come together because it's part of a transformation into like an effective team. And especially here, the reason why we're doing this, you can see, is increased motivation and let them cooperate even better. Team building is basically an ongoing process. So by having like one dinner together, you cannot say that we're a strong, effective team already. So it's an ongoing process. It takes time to really evolve into this one cohesive unit. And also the team members do not only share their expectations, because at the end they're supposed to accomplish specific goals and tasks, but it's a lot also about trust, and also like, how can we get to know each other and support one another? How can we even respect our differences? And this is why you cannot only establish this in a one-time thing, right? So here's the dilemma for a lot of companies, actually. 80% of the individuals and teams within most organizations are not achieving their true potential. So team building is just one answer to helping them achieve the true potential. If we look at statistics, like this is just one for Germany because I'm German, right? So you can see that a lot of employees are not engaged. But if we look at China and the world, the whole number of employee engagement is very low. So a lot of people would just like come to work. Maybe they don't like their work. They don't like their boss, the company, the task, whatever it is. They may not be involved in the company culture, their activities, whatever it is. So a lot of potential actually gets lost, even if we have to work in a team. Now, what are some reasons for team building? Let me ask you. Only mentioned a few so far. What are reasons for team building? Why do we do that? Please write in a chat if you like, or unmute yourself. Love to see some more answers. Gain trust. Yes, thank you. Thanks, Kieran. Build a bond that can serve a stronger goal. Thanks, David. To strengthen colleague engagement, to fully use everyone's strength. Thank you, Emma. Yes, beautiful. So there's a lot of answers here. As you can see, like, yes, of course, like networking, socializing, getting to know each other, because you cannot create trust from zero. And it's really about like boosting performance, maybe even competition. But here, number 4, don't forget, we also want to celebrate. We want to celebrate successes. We want to celebrate the team, have fun together. As I said, teams that play together, stay together. It makes them stronger even. And yes, we want to foster innovation, creativity. Better communication is another reason, especially when we're all new, maybe shy, we're different type of personalities. Number 7, what a lot of people don't think about is enhancing the company culture. I'll go back to this shortly. And maybe like here 8, we want to like look forward to something, forward to achieving that goal, or to winning that client, or whatever it is. We also want to show appreciation to our employees. Yes, with a hongbao, for example, but maybe through this team building activity, by giving our time and maybe saying some good words. 10, build bridges across departments. So very often, like, oh, there's this marketing department, the finance department, the engineers, and nobody really knows each other, but they somehow have to work together. And number 11, unlock leadership potential. So this is also about the leaders. And also, as we said, or you mentioned it, employee engagement and morale. And it's interesting, actually, when companies decide to invest in a company culture, so team building can really become a part of the company culture. And we can really see that, yes, we have a lot of positive outcomes here. We can have like 33% higher profitability. We can increase our productivity by 43%, increase our sales. I mean, who doesn't want to have 37% higher sales, right? More innovation, 51% lower turnover. And we all know that turnover in China or everywhere, and especially in big cities like Shanghai, is really high. And in some industries, even higher, like hospitality, compared to other like niche industries. Less safety incidents, less sick leaves, less burnout, and so on. So I want to give you one example. It's just a small thing, but at least once per month, because I have a team that are actually virtual, I do a lunch together. So even if my colleagues are like from Malaysia and different places in China, but we at least have lunch together. And then we just like we gossip, we talk about anything beyond work, right? And we talk about personal topics as well. I mean, this is just a small tiny example, but it's really about having fun, celebrating each other, showing the personal side of us, and not only like fully being focused on work. But this has become a part of my company culture. It's so important to me. Even if we're virtual, we can still order food and eat in together, for example. It's like a tradition by now, a ritual. Now, we spoke about differences between groups and teams, and just quickly summarizing this. So groups are basically people working towards the same goal, towards a goal, but very often it's coordinated by someone else for them. But here for the team, it's really like these people, like in the video that we saw, working towards one goal. We saw this New Zealand rugby players. And then, of course, they had a few dancers, the indigenous people from New Zealand, and they all tried to frighten their competitors, right? And they're all working toward, we want to win that game. And in a team, you can have even multiple leaders. In a group, most of the times, there's just one. And very important is also, especially for a team, they discuss, they decide. But basically having different opinions and having even disagreements are encouraged. Whereas in groups, it could even like separate them. So it's really like for groups, an individual goal. Maybe every person from a different department has their individual goal.
Sorry, I think we lost Janine. So I'm sure that I'm gonna contact Janine.
Can you hear me? Am I back?
This is what happened with the Wi-Fi.
Exactly. Yes. So this is it about groups and teams, basically, right? And we want to be that rugby players, achieving that one goal together. And in case you have not learned about this in university, how are effective teams built? There's a lot of different stages. And I think the interesting thing is, because we don't have too much time here, there is a forming phase where we basically start. We are all new. We're probably still like a group, random people coming together. And it takes time to really like get to know each other. And it's even normal that we get into that storming phase, and maybe the performance may go down a bit. The team effectiveness may go down. We may have disagreements. Michelle, your idea is stupid. And we may argue a little bit. But as we said, it's a good thing. It's part of the team building process here, because after the storming, there comes the norming, because we got to know each other better. We know how to create this consensus, how to develop each team member, how to really become a unity. And this is then here when we start to perform the highest and the best until maybe the project is over. So keep that in mind, this up and down, and that even like the storming phase is kind of normal in order to become that strong, effective team. So how do we prepare a team building event? Well, for any one of you who has to prepare one, I know Michelle has preparing team building events before as a manager, Kieran as well. Here, define your goals. Really know of like, why are you creating a team building event? Is it because you want to improve communication? Is it because you want to get to know each other and break the ice? Really have in mind the why. because then you can set a budget. And I know people always think, oh, team building events are so expensive. It really depends on what you want. If you want to go to Sanya with your 50-person team and you think that this really like helps you the most to achieve your goals, do it. It's not going to be cheap, but it may be really effective depending on what you do. But guys, please, like, there is also a lot of really good activities that you can do even with a little budget, even if you hire companies like me. Okay, so please don't be like, don't have the fear of, oh, it's going to be expensive. There's so many different ways. And then here, set up a planning team, invite and involve the right people. So really think again, who are the right people so that you can achieve that goal that you have defined. And then select the right activities. As I said, not everything needs to cost a lot of money. I do, for example, a lot with like Lego, as you can see here in the picture. And buying Lego online and having a trainer to conduct a few Lego activities doesn't have to be the most expensive one. So there's so many different ways what you can do. Choose a great time, choose a good location. And I mean, there's nowadays, we have perfect weather. You can do something outdoors, right? That can like where you go inside the nature, and it doesn't have to cost any money. And also market the event internally. That's very important. Get the people excited, because sometimes people think, oh no, we have to do this we have to meet with the group or like with the other team members. No, like market it as something amazing. Create this excitement within team members already. And here I just have a few ideas for you guys of what could be team building activities that are also like not like the highest where you need the highest budget. And I know that most of the times we spoke about dinner, right? So it seems like this is like an outing idea or something outside of work. But also think about how can you maybe integrate team building events inside a meeting? And it doesn't have to be a face-to-face meeting. As I said, I have virtual lunch, right? So it could also be like a virtual team building activity. Here, for example, during a meeting, you could solve a puzzle. Maybe the goal is to become more creative or to work together. Or here, number 2, give compliments. It's something I love, because if you give a genuine compliment to anybody, and you can do this online, offline, it probably makes you feel good if it's a genuine compliment. So you're actually boosting some positivity and some positive, happy emotions inside your meeting right now. You can have a brainstorming session to boost creativity. You can talk about your personality. Maybe everyone today here in this room, Sue, Cooper, Michelle, Belle, June, maybe every one of you is going to share something about your personality so we can get to know each other. And this can take 5 minutes, and then we can start the business meeting. Or you can have a contest. This can be done online, offline. Like, for example, the American e-commerce company Zappos, they actually have so many different kind of contests during the day. Hey, let's do a costume party today. Hey, let's do German Oktoberfest. And then everybody like dresses up. You can do this during a meeting. It sounds crazy, but if it is valuable to you and your team, why not? Try out something different. Be crazy as long as it serves you and your team. Or have a virtual murder mystery to have some fun and play a game, whatever it is. And an outing idea, I mean, very often what we did when I used to work at HP, we did like kayaking events, for example, or we did volunteering together. So this could be something like, for example, also outdoors. We even had a barbecue outside and made our own sticks where we put the sausages on top and so on. But you can also play board games. I mean, a board game costs nothing, right? You can create a scavenger hunt, pretend to be like little children again. Even for adults, it can be fun. You can untangle a human knot where people grab each other's hands, and then there's like a knot and you have to like walk over it and go under it. You can have a silent lineup where people line up in a line, for example, from A to Z according to your name. I don't know, whatever it is. And it could, for example, like this silent lineup, I like it as an icebreaker activity because people are silent and they have to practice their body language. So nonverbal communication. This would be one of the goals, for example, when I like to use it. You can host a lunch and learn. You can take a cooking class together. I'm sure like Michel, he's really good in cooking and in making cheesecakes. So having a cheesecake class with Michel would probably be awesome, I can imagine. Or have an improv class, get an improv teacher for 1 or 2 hours, whatever it is. Just like be creative. But guys, for no matter what goal you have and what budget you have, there's a lot of possibilities in here. All right, so this is it actually from my side. So as I mentioned earlier, we have the book launching with self-coaching cards on Amazon as well, where you can coach yourself, for example. If you guys look for any trainings or coaching of your staff, team building events, feel free to get in contact with me as well. I'd be very happy to support you on this. And yeah, I'm opening the chat now for your questions. Any sharing?
Very useful and a lot of information sharing with us. So now I'm sure that everyone will know how to do a team building, and including me. Thank you, yeah, for sharing a lot of ideas. And now, yes, the Q&A session starts. So don't be shy, open your camera, or if you don't want to open your camera, just use your micro to ask the questions, or also on the chat box.
Any questions, sharings? Nothing this morning? Or you can also share what kind of team building events have you done with your team and your company, for example.
So I'm going to start.
Okay. Yes, please.
As you mentioned, yes, I have a team, and part of my team is not located in Shanghai, but in Changshu, in our 100 kilometers from here. And true that with all the pandemic situation, it was quite challenging, to plan team building. And I was always thinking of what kind of team building I want to set. And I was always thinking of face-to-face, because for me, team building is really to have everyone around face-to-face and to be able to discuss. And true that because of the situation, yes, I'm going to set my plan and make something shorter virtually, as maybe as you mentioned, is maybe a launch, a virtual launch team building. I think it could be something also good to start, at least now, because we never know so far, but yeah, the situation is still like it is.
Thanks for sharing, Misha. I'll get back to your question in a second, David. So the reason why in the beginning I asked you, is a dinner or lunch like a team building activity? Of course it is. However, sometimes people are just shy. Sometimes it takes a guide, a moderator, like this external person to facilitate that gathering this activity, to get basically through the skin, through the wall of some people, because not everybody is willing and opening up and sharing about their personality. Like when I have this lunch with my colleagues, well, they are open-minded to talk about their personality, about life, funny stories, so we can laugh together. But sometimes it takes that external person. David was asking about what is the best icebreakers when hosting a team event. Well, it depends. There's so many exercises that you can use, but an icebreaker means you're breaking the ice, because even if a team knows each other, in the beginning, they may be super shy. So I can just like give you a few other ideas of what I have already mentioned earlier in the list. I sometimes like to play charades. However, like, you know, charades, like you have different teams, so you have a little bit of a competition. People like, it depends on the teams, but some people love little competitions where one team has to play against the others. Maybe they can get a prize. And charades for me only make sense if maybe we have the same kind of like cultural understanding or same language background, or maybe we understand the same jokes, or it otherwise it has to be a word that everybody knows. If it's a very international team, for example, I mean, everybody would know how to guess a flower or a boat or a horse, and maybe then there's two people together, they have to show without speaking a horse, and then the other team members have to guess, oh, it's a horse, or what kind of word it is. As I said, I like the silent lineups, especially if it's about getting to know people from the start, because I can, like, people have to line up with speaking or without speaking. And I could ask them, what is your birthday? And they have to line up according to the year or the day, the month, or maybe how big was your breakfast today? I don't know, it's a stupid question, but it's just about making people laugh. Or for example, like I do a lot on communication, as you can see. For communication, I also use, we played this as kids, like Chinese telegraph. In German, we call it still post. So basically, one person has to whisper a sentence in the other person's ear, and it goes around, and you can even have two groups. And then the group who is the fastest has to say it out loud. And normally it's a fun thing, because depending on the sentence you say, people may say it wrong, and then people often have to laugh out. So we're starting with some positive emotions. So you really want to have some positive emotions and something fun in the beginning. Yeah, there's a huge bunch of icebreakers. Emma, I thought this webinar was about how to build up great teamwork, do our best, and avoid misunderstanding and conflicts in daily work. Yet it focuses on how to carry out team building beyond office hours. Emma, yes, I wanted to talk about team building. I mean, it is these little exercises that we can do don't have to be beyond office hours. These things can be part of the office hours. So yeah, I really wanted to focus on team building activities, because they are part of how you can improve the teamwork. Because the better you know different kind of people, it can help you become an effective team. And to be honest, in these team building activities, very often, like companies would actually not just say, okay, we have a dinner, but they would actually have a trainer, a facilitator of exercises. Why? Because often they would actually even teach you something about time management, productivity skills, maybe how to handle the stress, how to communicate with your team members when you are stressed. These are very often actually like training components that are integrated in a fun way in team building activities or team building events. So basically, you use this gamification also to let them learn something and to build that trust together. So avoiding misunderstandings and how to handle conflict in daily work is actually a part that you could integrate in these team building events. So these games, they have a purpose. And as I said in the beginning, the purpose is really to create that trust and all these things. So I'm sorry if there was maybe a misunderstanding, Emma. Here, like these are the reasons why we actually do these exercises that I had mentioned before. And as I said, like what is team building? Yeah, it's exactly to do what you just mentioned. David, is team building possible to be achieved remotely? If so, what challenges to watch out when hosting a remote team building? Yes, totally possible. I mean, remotely, it's a little bit more challenging. I mean, you know, everything that is done virtually can have some miscommunication or misunderstandings. What to watch out? I mean, I don't know if your team is actually, if they're only Chinese, for example, David, or if you have multinational teams. If so, watch out, because there's different cultures who may have different type of humor. They may have grown up with different movies, different games, different topics to talk about. So sometimes maybe there's not the same jokes that you could share. So you gotta be careful on this part, for example. And other challenges to watch out. The better you know a person or a personality, the easier it will be for you. But at the end, in these team building exercises, it is that you can get to know each other better. So I sometimes like to start team building activities with personality tests that people do before. Bye, Kieran, have a good day. That people do before the team building event. So like, for example, MBTI, the 16 personality types, because I, as a trainer, already get to know the people a bit better, which can help me provide these team building activities. And David, what I also suggest is have an external person, because if you're the manager and the leader, sometimes you may not have the same effect of letting people open up, especially virtually, as if there is this external trainer. He is neutral, and it may be easier for this external neutral person to let people open up through exercises. Yeah, so it is possible remotely. I hope it answered a little bit your questions. Yes, I guess, Michelle, I'm handing over to you. We're probably slowly stopping.
Yes. So if we don't have any other questions, what I like to do just before to finish the session is I just want to make a photo, and if you can turn off your camera, because I want to see your beautiful smile, and we will stop here and to let you start your Monday. So I'm gonna count to 3. Turn your camera, I make a big smile, I will take a photo, okay? 1, 2, 3. Happening now, big smile. Smile, smile, smile. Thank you very much. So I'm very happy to be here with you today. And thank you again to Janine for these great topics. And I wish everyone a very good Monday, and keep smiling.
Happy Monday, everybody. Thanks for joining. Maybe join us again at 8 if you like.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Great to see you.